What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Work the Crowd podcast, where we talk everything sports. I'm here, as always, joined with, at the hip, Coach Jay, University of Tennessee, Jacob Klucas. What's up?
Got a big win down in Baton Rouge yesterday.
In case anybody is wondering what we're talking about, it's college football 26.
Boy, Texas Tech's gone to shit since I left, huh?
Well, you know.
In real life and the video game.
They
were doing so good in real. They were even doing so good in real life when I was there.
As soon as you leave fantasy land, they start sucking in real land. Well, got some. We're gonna talk. Obviously, we're gonna talk college football. Dodgers going back to World Series again. NBA preview because that's coming up. The season starts the 24th? Tuesday. 21st. Tuesday. Well, talk about a fall off, and then obviously we'll talk about NFL. So, but I think to get started, we're gonna go over a food question for the day.
So I think we missed last episode, but a couple episodes we've been doing food questions to start off the show. Got some good reactions off of them, specifically in our group chat. So let's get it going again. Doug, if you sit down at a restaurant, okay, and you order a chicken finger basket, okay, what is the correct, respectable amount of chicken tenders to go in a basket? What's the number?
4.
I feel like 4 is the perfect number.
Yeah, I think 4 is the number.
If you bring me a basket of 3 chicken strips, I'm liable to throw it back at you.
Now, if you're really hungry, you can go 5.
Correct. It also, I'll preference this. It depends on where you're at, how the size of the chicken strips are.
But either way, though, I still think 4 is a good number.
4 is the perfect number, no matter for that whole scenario. But
because if you get 4 small ones, you're going to eat them all.
You're like, okay, they're small, 4 with a basket of fries or chips.
And then if they're big, then you can eat like 2 and take a couple home. Yeah. Yep. That is 4. That's it. There's no other answer.
I'm glad we're on the same page there. Yeah. If you bring me a basket of 3, I'm liable to throw it at you.
Now, okay.
4 is respectable, obviously, like we just said. 5, I'm in love with you. Wow, this is a great basket.
Okay. What about wings? We're going on the chicken. We'll stay on the chicken topic.
So I feel like anywhere between 8 to 10 is the perfect number for a normal basket.
Okay.
And if you want to go maybe
bone in.
If you want to go maybe just a little bit, well, if you go bone in, I think you got to up it to like 12.
I think 10 to 12 for
bone in. You got to go 10. You got to go 10 to 12 just because you're not getting as much meat off of each wing, depending on what you order.
Yeah,
depending on what you order all flats, you're getting nothing but meat. Flats is the way to go. All right, but
I was a drum guy. I was a leg.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. Growing up, when we would get, like we would order like KFC or something, or just have fried chicken in general at home or something. I was 100% a leg and a drum guy. Just that's what I wanted, and I grew up and
you grew up
flats. Yeah, it's the way to go.
Yeah. If you know how to eat a flat correctly, it is definitely the way to go.
It's the cleanest way to eat a wing. Like
I think so.
You're gonna get, at bare minimum, you're getting 95% of that meat off the bone every time, maybe even higher than that.
Now,
but, you get a leg. Sometimes there's too much gristle. There's just too much, fat. There's too much shit to try to get off the bone at one time. Flats are the way to go. If you're going bone in, I'd go 10 to 12. Unless I think I'll up it a little bit. I think anywhere between that 8 to 12 range is the perfect amount for boneless.
Yeah, because some places have bigger boneless wings than others.
Right. Like Roosters has giant wings. So 8 to 10 is kind of a perfect number.
10 is that good. That's why they only do the 10. Yeah. But, you go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, it's a little bit smaller, 8 to 12. I think you can go in between. All right.
Yep.
Great way to start off.
Back to sports.
Now, let me go on my rant here.
God, of course.
Because I said to myself, and I said to you, I refuse to watch Kentucky football until Mark Stoops is gone. And last night I found myself watching the game because, I just can't get away from it. And last night's game, if that doesn't tell you Mark Stoops has to go, I don't know what else does. All right. So let's do this. Let me show you something here. I posted this on Facebook as well. But this was the game stats going into the game-winning field goal for Texas in overtime. How do you have the ball for double the amount of time as the opposing team? You almost damn near, you do actually. You double their yardage. You have the ball 30 more times, or you run 30 more plays than the opposing team, and you fucking lose. All right. So what did I take away from this game? Listen, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. Cutter Boley's not good, but Cutter Boley plays his fucking ass off every game.
He does.
And listen, if you're not gonna be good, that's what all I ask for. Give me your all. Like, show me that you're at least trying, and not just trying to be ass. When I say that, he was literally as bad as Cutter Boley can be at times. He was literally the sole reason, outside of the defense, obviously, but as far as offense, the reason why they were in that game offensively with everything he was able to do. That defense at Kentucky is very, very good. And I've known that. But the problem is with the Kentucky defense is when your offense doesn't move the ball, and this has been Kentucky's problem for a while. Brad White, the fact that Kentucky's been able to keep Brad White all these years as a defensive coordinator has actually been amazing, because Brad White should be a defensive coordinator at a high paying school somewhere. But they've been able to keep him. And Brad White's been able to do the most with the least. And the fact, and the reason why the defense looks bad maybe at times is just because when you're on the field 70% of the game, you get tired. You run out of gas. But then we get, okay, whatever. Bad play calling, whatever you want to call it, leading up to overtime. You get to overtime. You get the ball first. You drive it all the way down to the 1 yard line. 3rd and goal, okay, you try to punch it in. You didn't get it. 4th down. Let's just state this. I don't agree with going for it on 4th down. Your defense has played lights out all day. Texas hasn't been able to move the ball on you at all game. Kick the field goal. Pray to hold them to a field goal, or, hold them to the field goal and just play for another overtime. Play to stay alive. But if you're going to go for it on 4th down, why the fuck do you run the same damn play you just ran on the previous play that got stopped? I mean, it was literally the same damn play, same damn formation. I'm so mad that I can't even talk. Same damn formation.
Spit it out.
Same damn players, literally the same leap into the end zone, and you get stopped. I mean, I that right there is prime example of why Stoops has to go. People, love or hate Dan Campbell for when he goes for it on 4th down. Dan Campbell wins football games. So when you have a good track record of winning and 4th down conversions, you can afford to go for those and just say, well, maybe it wasn't the right call, but we did it. It's in our culture to do it. Mark Stoops ain't fucking done that to be able to do this. So, again, your defense has played lights out all day. In overtime, you're starting at the 30 no matter what. So you're already in field goal range for the kicker. Texas also has a really good kicker. So you're in chip shot range for him. Take your points and play for another overtime. Why are you trying to go for it?
Yeah, your defense has played well all game. Trust your defense to make a stop and hold them to a field goal.
And then also, again, if you're going to go for it, you run the same play. Why do you not put Cutter Boley's literally carried you this whole game. Why do you not put the ball in his hands and allow him to try to make a play, whether it be with his feet or making a throw? If I'm going to go for it, I'm going for the guy that's brought me. I'm going with the guy that's brought me here, and it was Cutter Boley. So I'm sorry. Mark Stoops has to go.
So I will say that, so you were talking about Brad White. I was looking up his salary just to see how much he was getting paid. He's getting paid $1.7 million from Kentucky, which is very high.
Yeah.
So that ranks him among assistant coaches nationally. So that's why you're able to keep him, because you're paying him.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm surprised that a higher, school hasn't called to, offer.
But you got to have somebody that's willing to pay him almost $2 million a year at that point, right? Why would he leave?
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, it also
that's
comes
still
down to that.
Crazy
it also
to me.
comes down to that scenario of, if you're wanting to eventually move up into the ranks of a head coach or anything, you take that leap to take maybe either the same amount of money or a pay cut to go to a better school and make the name for yourself. So there's that too.
But I think he is making a name for himself.
But
Kentucky's defense has always been good since he's been there.
Yeah, and what I really just don't hope happens is that they look at this game and go, well, we almost beat Texas. We can't get rid of
That's
Stoops.
exactly what's happening. I guarantee it.
Just if Stoops isn't the coach of Kentucky last night, they win that game.
Maybe.
I'm telling you, I'm so ready for either Summerall, Will Stein, or at this point, give me John Gruden. I'm so ready. I'm so done with Stoops. I am one to be appreciative. I understand that Stoops brought Kentucky from a joke of a football program to at least semi okay. All right. from what we were to now is a night and day difference. But I'm also one to understand that it's just time to go. Like just like for basketball, it was time for Cal to go. Cal had done everything he could do with Kentucky basketball. It was time for him to go. Stoops has done everything he can with Kentucky. We've already seen the ceiling of Kentucky football, and it's a 10-win season, and that's a good season. But that's it. That's the cap. You're not going any farther under Stoops. So it's time to move forward.
And I think they get rid of him after this year, but they're not going to fire him midseason.
Well, I've seen reports that he's interested in, or that, well, maybe not that he's interested, but there's been rumors of him going to Virginia Tech. And by all means, go. Go.
Why would he want to go there? I mean, if I'm him, I don't say anything. You're paying me $9 million a year. Why the hell? I'm going to make you fire me. And I'm going to get my buyout. He's not going to just go.
I'm just telling you what reports say. So
where have you heard that? That's crazy.
But it's just time for him to go. He's got to go. Also, Arch sucks.
Yeah, he's horrible.
I know we've said that many of times, but I mean, I literally watched him throw a ball during the Kentucky game. The tight end to his tight end, there was not a Kentucky player within 20 yards of him, and he missed him. I get at some points you do look at a coach and go, you just done a bad job at developing him. This is Arch's third year at Texas. First year starting, I get it. But at some point, I got to look at the player and be like, yo, what are we doing here?
Yeah, he's a bottom tier SEC
he can't
quarterback.
Bench him. I understand it. He can't bench him. He's a Manning. He makes too much money in NIL. You can't bench him. But, I mean, my God, dude. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't even know what they do in the offseason. If I'm Stark, I got to go a different route. You can't have your quarterback play like that, especially with as good as that defense is.
I could still very well see Arch entering the portal. Maybe that's a conversation they both have where Sark's like, listen, I think it'd be better for both of us if you just enter the portal. But I don't get it. It's bad. We said it. There's a reason why he never beat out Quinn Ewers for that job. And we're clearly seeing it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they can't move the ball. Speaking
of another letdown, Florida State lost their 4th straight last night to Stanford.
Yeah, I saw that.
But
maybe they do suck still.
R.I.P. Tommy Castellanos, because he died.
Yeah, he got
laid out.
Yeah.
It was a dirty hit.
It was. Yeah.
But, I mean, he died.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay. I do like him as a quarterback.
I hope he is. But here's the problem with Florida State. They can't move off Mike Norvell. His buyout's $60 million. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't move off that. I get it. It's you started off the season hot. You've lost 4 straight, especially how last year went. Especially after seeing James Franklin getting the boot, your kind of thought would be just to get rid of him. But how do you justify firing him and paying him $60 million to not coach your school?
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. And I mean, especially so when they fired Willie Taggart, who was the head coach before Mike Norvell, I believe. Let me just double check this, make sure I'm right. Yeah. Willie Taggart's buyout was even $18 million. So you're talking about firing back-to-back coaches at a combined over almost $80 million.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not paying that all up front.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't think you can justify paying him $60 million, regardless if you're paying it up front, paying it in, increments. But I don't think they can do it. I think they almost have to go another year, Mike Norvell.
No, I think you do. I don't think they need to get rid of Mike Norvell yet.
The problem is, I just don't know what else. Where else do you go? Because he doesn't really. I mean, he's gotten a couple of good transfers. Tommy Castellanos has literally been his savior this year.
Yeah.
They got Keon Coleman from Michigan State a couple years ago when they went undefeated, and Keon Coleman was really good. But they're not really recruiting at a high rate. Not that you would kind of expect Florida State to, with a bunch of Florida kids down there. You're not really hitting the transfer portal hard. I mean, literally all signs point back to coaching. But again, I don't think you justify moving off of him.
No, they don't need to get rid of him yet. They need to keep him another year, at least.
And then, yesterday, I was all for Penn State kind of getting rid of James Franklin. I understood why they did it. But after watching that College Game Day segment, it makes you feel for the guy.
Yeah, I don't think they ever should have got rid of him in mid-season. That's what I kept saying. That. I'm like, why would you get rid of him right now?
I don't believe in it mid-season because I don't think coaches should ever get fired mid-season because, people will say, well, you have to because of recruiting. Well, you don't hire right away. So it's not like it's not like you're hiring a guy right away to come in and, start recruiting and everything. Like, you're still waiting to the end of the year anyway. So what's the difference? Just hold on to him.
Well, yeah.
Also, you don't want to lose the locker room for the rest of the year. Like, regardless if your interim
It's
coach has
lost.
been there. Well, I mean, yeah, but you've lost it with Franklin. You definitely lost it without him. Now players' minds aren't on the game of football. It's all on what's my next move? Do I leave Penn State? Do I transfer? Where do I go? Nobody's mind is on football, and they lost again yesterday at Iowa. And they'll go on bye next week, and then they have to go make the trip to Columbus. So we're talking, again, like we talked about last week when we did the show before he got fired, but 5 straight losses coming from Penn State. And that would be my thing, is if you're the next coach looking to take over Penn State, which from everything I'm seeing is pretty much going to come down to, I know it's pretty much going to be Matt Rule is what I'm assuming. But if it's not Matt Rule, if I'm the next coach, I'm sitting there looking at what they just did to James Franklin and going 10, 11 wins every year. We just went to the Final Four last year, and you fired the last guy. What makes you think you're not going to do that to me?
I think people are willing to take that chance if they're going to.
I mean, yeah.
Pay him.
Which Matt Rule is, he's a Penn State alum. So, I mean, like, he's a good he's a good coach. So it's a good choice.
Yeah.
But obviously, like before, it was going to be Kurt Signetti potentially, but Indiana just extended him. He's not going anywhere, at least for the foreseeable future. I think Kurt Signetti will never leave Indiana unless a big time job were to open up somehow.
Well, he's also pretty old.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's in his 60s.
Yeah. The only way, like I said, it would have to be, I mean, we'd have to be talking about, an Alabama, a Georgia, an Ohio State, something like that. Like a job like that coming open for him to leave Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, I think he only has 10 years left, probably, if that.
But I mean, there was one name that I did see thrown out for the Penn State job that I think would be a pretty good hire, and honestly scares me a little more than Matt Rule, and that was Pat Fitzgerald, who's the old Northwestern coach. Yeah, I mean,
guy. Okay.
I mean, he got caught up in a investigation at Northwestern. They ultimately let him go because of the investigation. The investigation came out that, he was, nothing had happened. So basically they had fired him for nothing. And talk about a guy that did a lot with not a whole lot of talent at Northwestern. Now you put him at a school like Penn State, I think you could see.
Oh, it's for the hazing shit?
Yeah. But put him at a school like Penn State, and now where he was doing a lot with less at Northwestern, now he's doing a lot with potentially a lot at Penn State. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I don't think Pat Fitzgerald will be a bad hire. I don't think they're going to get it because the boosters and everybody and, everybody else wants Matt Rule because he's a Penn State guy. So I think it's going to end up being Matt Rule.
Yeah, it probably will. Which he'll be fine there.
Now, the question would be if Matt Rule does go, does Raiola hit the portal, or Baby Mahomes, as Fox Sports likes to call him?
We could go with him to Penn State.
Good. But then he wouldn't be wearing red and white like Kansas City. So
can we have some alternate colors?
Maybe he'd be heading to Louisville next year. Hey?
I mean, he's not a bad quarterback.
You get to wear the red and white.
Yeah, he would. If he wants to come over to Louisville and throw left-handed, that's fine.
Throw left-handed.
Did you not see that throw he had the other day?
I did not. I saw they lost, but I did not see the throw.
Yeah, he threw it left-handed.
That's horrible.
He made a completion.
He did?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was more like a push than a throw. It was like a really short throw, but he got it completed. I'm pretty sure.
But real quick before we move on, this is my updated top 25 for this week.
Oh, Louisville's in the top 25. Finally, after beating number 2.
Hey.
Like a big dub from the Cards, baby. Let's go.
Talk about defense. Cards defense showed up.
We had cornerbacks and linebackers out there making better catches than our receivers. So
outside of Chris Bell. But
Chris Bell could be a very high draft pick coming up.
But I think pretty much Ohio State and Indiana. So, I mean, if we're going to be real, I think there's a gap between Ohio State and Indiana. And then I think the gap between Indiana and the rest of the country is pretty significant as well, with A&M and Alabama right there. But I think Indiana and Ohio State have separated themselves from everybody else so far, at least. Outside of that, Notre Dame, big win against USC yesterday. They've seemed to make their comeback off 2 straight losses. BYU's a real interesting team as well, considering they have a fullback playing quarterback. who's actually pretty good. And then I know you hate to see it, Doug, but here comes Scott Satterfield and the Bearcats.
Cincinnati. I'm honestly, I never had a ton of hate for Scott Satterfield. I don't think he was ready for the Louisville job when he got it, but I'm glad he's doing something there.
Look, listen, I think it worked out for both
100%
parties.
worked out for both teams.
He goes to a school where there's not as big of expectations, I guess you would say.
Probably.
And then, obviously Louisville got Brom out of it.
Yep.
So, and then one last thing I wanted to show.
I still think you had Texas kind of high on that list. 12.
But that defense is.
I know the defense is good, but 12. I think they're at least 17.
So based off my ranking, this is how the CFP would look right now, and I'm not going to go through. I'm not going to go through all of it, obviously, right now, like predictions or anything, obviously. But I just wanted to show some interesting matchup. Yeah, so BYU being the highest ranked Big 12 team would be in the playoff. South Florida as the non-power 5. But so you'd have a South Florida Oklahoma matchup in round 1. And then look at that second matchup right there. How about Carson Beck and Miami having to go back to Athens to play Georgia? Carson Beck would be a deer in the headlights in Athens right now.
Well, considering how he just played at home and how he just blamed his receiver from that last play.
Yeah, that was insane.
Not a good look from the starting quarterback.
Nope. You don't blame your players.
I'm curious to see how now the rest of their schedule is pretty favorable, but I'm curious to see how the next game goes and how he plays with how much confidence he's playing with and how much he actually has the team, because that looks horrible. You can't throw 4 picks and then blame your receiver for one of them.
Yeah, I think the only other game that I would maybe have concern about for Miami just a little bit would be at SMU.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have to play Georgia Tech. They don't have to play Virginia. So do they play at Duke or do they play Duke?
Nope.
So they don't.
That's what I'm saying. So their remaining schedule is. Let me pull it back up here. So their remaining schedule is they're against Stanford next week at home, at SMU, at home against Syracuse. If they were at NC State, I would say there could be a trap game, but it's at home against NC State. And then at VTech, and then at Pitt to end the year.
Yeah,
maybe Pittsburgh could be a little bit of a trap game
if they figure their shit out. But yeah, I mean they'll probably win every game. But I mean, if you're talking Carson Beck going back to Athens, and if that situation happens, Georgia,
little West Coast matchup, BYU, Oregon, and then a little SEC matchup, Vandy and Ole Miss. Now think about this, Doug. We're in a world where we could see a second round playoff matchup in college football of Vanderbilt versus Indiana.
Yeah. Is this college basketball? What's happening? Yeah, no, Diego Pavia is the real deal.
So somebody posed a question this morning, and I'm kind of interested. Why does Johnny Manziel rep Diego Pavia so much and not Texas A&M and Marcel Reed?
Maybe because he identifies a little more with Pavia.
Get that, but dude. I mean, you've made an appearance in Tuscaloosa wearing a Pavia jersey. I have not seen him this year at A&M for a game.
Oh, there's no telling what happened there at the end.
I mean,
I still think he sees himself a lot in Pavia as a quarterback.
Yes, for sure.
So I think that's why he does that. But I think this is awesome for college football. And I think this goes to show that this is what NIL is doing for the rest of college.
It's what NIL, it's what the transfer portal.
Yeah. This is the game.
Everything out. This is what I was talking with Teasley about yesterday. I was like, this is what the transfer portal does. Like, now when you watch Alabama, if their left tackle goes down, they're not just necessarily always replacing them with another 5-star left tackle, because that 5-star left tackle ain't waiting to play. He's going to go transfer to somewhere else where he can play. So it evens the talent across the nation.
Yep. I was going to say that, but you interrupted me.
Sorry, buddy. But Last little bit, Vince Lombardi Jr. over in UCLA. They got another win. They are now 3-4, I think, on the year. Yep, 3-4. And they go to Indiana next week. Who knows? Is there still a little bit of Nico magic?
No.
Maybe. So, and UCLA's got a gauntlet of a schedule. They got to go. Their last 5 games are at Indiana, at home against Nebraska, at Ohio State, at home against Washington, at USC.
Good luck.
But again, UCLA pulled out another win. That offensive coordinator is looking like a genius over there. But yes, moving on, I guess real quick, just shout out to the Dodgers heading back to the World Series off a Shohei Ohtani generational performance Friday night.
Generational. I mean, honestly, I think it's probably one of the best ever in the history of baseball.
Yeah. 3 home runs. He struck out the side in an inning. Well, he struck out the side and then went to the next at bat and proceeded to hit a home run. But
And then, but 10 strikeouts on top of that in just over 6 innings.
Yeah. And then tonight you've got Game 6 of the ALCS, Mariners, Blue Jays in Toronto, Seattle 3-2 lead. So a win tonight, Seattle could punch their ticket to the World Series. So we could potentially have our World Series matchup as of tonight. If not, Game 7 will be Monday if needed. So, but with that being said, now we are going to move into NBA predictions on the year. And this was me doing because Doug doesn't really follow the NBA as much like that.
No, it's been horrible to watch. Okay, let's be honest.
You're not wrong. But with that being said, here is real quick. Hold on. Thank you. All right. Here are my standings predictions for this year. So real quick, out east, just a quick little rundown of each team. 15, the Nets. The Nets suck. I mean, they're looking to potentially get the number 1 pick this year to add either Darren Peterson or AJ Devanza, more than likely. 14, the Wizards. This is a young team, but still they just don't have the firepower. But they do have a lot of good young talent to work off of. It's way too young. 13, Charlotte Hornets. LaMelo Ball can't stay healthy. I don't like the makeup of the rest of this Hornets team. I don't understand their drafting. You drafted Con Knipple, and then I thought you already drafted way too high as is. And then you drafted Liam McNeely. You literally drafted 2 players that basically do the same thing. And then, Mark Williams up in the air. Do they try to trade him again this year? But yeah, and then LaMelo just hasn't been able to ever stay healthy in his career. So, 12, the Chicago Bulls. I do think this could be potentially a team that could maybe sneak into a play-in, but as of right now, I've got them on the outside looking in. 11, the Celtics. Jason Tatum's not going to play for at least the first half of the year. Maybe even longer than that, I would say, probably depending on how the Celtics season is looking. Jaylen Brown's going to miss the first game of the year with an injury. Losing Al Horford, they don't really have any other big man. I mean, their next big man in line and is essentially Nehemias Queta. You know who that is, Doug?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of where I'm getting at here. I mean, listen, they have good guards. Obviously, you got Derek White. They traded for Anthony Simons. They have Peyton Pritchard. They have Jaylen Brown still. You just have no inside presence for defense, offense, none of that. 10, the Milwaukee Bucks. Listen, at the end of the day, they're going to probably make the play-in because they still have Giannis. Still got Giannis. You added Miles Turner. You still have, Kyle Kuzma is still respectable, but just not that good of a team. 9, the Pacers. The Pacers are interesting because they're still a good team. I get it. They're not going to have Halliburton for the first half of the year, but Andrew Nembhard's a very good player, and he's just going to slide in and play the point guard role for Halliburton. I think he'll be fine with that. You're going to get more minutes for guys like Ben Mathurin and players like that. You still have Siakam. Yeah, you got to replace Miles Turner, but I still think this Pacers team can still get at least a play-in spot. 8, Miami. The roster all around. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with Wiggins, if they're going to try to trade him. If not, but I mean, as of now, with the starting lineup of Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, you have, Norman Powell at your leisure. Wiggins, Bam. This is still, and Spoelstra's your coach. This is still going to be a playoff team. Raptors, very young. They ended the year very well last year. I think they make a leap. 6, the Pistons. Team that made the big leap last year. I think they just get even better this year. 5, obviously, I've got the 76ers, but this is also pending health. If Joel Embiid stays healthy, and never mind Paul George, we're just talking Joel Embiid, the Sixers are a top 5 team in the East as long as Embiid's healthy. 4, the Atlanta Hawks, who I'm very high on this year. They made a lot of good free agent moves, a lot of good trades this offseason. So the Hawks, I think, will be one of the better teams. 3, Orlando. Long as Paolo's healthy, this will be one of the better teams in the East. 2, the Knicks. 1, the Cavs. If you're the Cavs, this is your move. You've got to make it now. Boston pretty much out this year without Tatum, potentially without Brown for the first little bit of the year. You've got to make your, no Halliburton in Indiana. You got to make your move now. Donovan Mitchell and them, they don't do it now. I don't think they'll ever do it. Kind of same thing for the Knicks, Magic, young and up and coming. And then over on the West side, Jazz, kind of in that same scenario with the Nets, not good. Suns, I don't like the I don't like the idea of trading away Katie and you get back Jalen Green, who plays the same position as Devin Booker. Doesn't make sense. The Kings are one of the most dysfunctional teams and organizations in the NBA. Their roster makes absolutely no sense. They have Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis all on the same team. And this team would have been maybe good in 2016, but not now. Not in 2025. The Pelicans, listen, I can't trust Zion to stay healthy. I don't know what to do with Zion because he's never shown me that he can be healthy. 11, the Mavericks. I do think they are going to miss the presence of having Kyrie there, obviously. There have been talks about, and they've been doing it in the preseason, of having they're going to have Cooper Flagg run the 1 for them and have the ball in his hands and let him play make.
Might work out.
Could work out. But again, I think, and again, with going off injury history, I can't trust Anthony Davis is going to stay healthy. So if Anthony Davis goes down and now all the offensive attention turns to Cooper Flagg, what does that look like? So 10, Wemby and the Spurs. I mean, if you've watched Wemby in the preseason, Wemby's been a monster. 9, the Portland Trailblazers. Not a team that has a star, but they had a winning record after the All-Star break last year. They were playing hard. Chauncey Billups had them running. I think they take a massive leap this year with a bunch of players just doing really well. 8, I've got the nursing home LA Clippers, who think bringing in all just like the Kings, who 2016, this team is an NBA Finals contender with Chris Paul, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, Lopez. But 2025, playing with people that are 36 and up is not the way to go. 7, the Grizzlies. I think the Grizzlies will always be there just because of having John Morant and Jaren Jackson. This is always a very good team. 6, the Golden State Warriors. You get a full year of Jimmy Butler with Steph Curry. They add Al Horford, but the top half of the West is just loaded. 5, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're always going to be right there now. Well-coached team. Anthony Edwards is a star. Lakers, I think, they're going to be missing LeBron at the beginning, but I think the difference between this year and previous years is the fact that they have Luka, and Luka can make up for a lot of it. So, 3, the Nuggets. 2, the Rockets. 1, I think OKC. Nobody's going to beat OKC in the regular season. They're just going to be really good to win just a lot of games in the regular season. And then 2, the Rockets, who I think already were the 2 seed last year. They add Kevin Durant. They're going to be very good. And then my awards, I think Luka wins the MVP. I think Luka's coming out here on a mission this year. I think he's got a lot to prove with the whole people saying, or, Maverick saying he was overweight last year. They traded him away. I think he's got a lot to prove this year. I think Cooper Flagg is the runaway rookie of the year this year, especially if they're going to put him at point guard and have the ball in his hands a lot of time. I think he's the runaway. 6th man of the year, DeAndre Hunter with the Cavs. DPOY, I think, goes to Wemby. Coach of the year, I have Jamal Mosley of the Magic, winning coach of the year. Most improved, I think, Amen Thompson takes on a little bit more point guard roles now with Fred VanVleet out for the year for the Rockets. I think he takes the massive leap and wins most improved. And then clutch player of the year, I think, goes to Jalen Brunson, who is, I know people don't like watching him because of foul baiting and stuff like that, but I thoroughly enjoy watching Jalen Brunson play basketball. And then my NBA Finals is going to be Nuggets and Cavs in the NBA Finals. And unfortunately, as much as it really hates me to say it, I think the Denver Nuggets win the NBA Finals this year. I think the offseason move, you look at the Nuggets last year, they pushed the Thunder, who won the finals, to 7 games with pretty much just an injured Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr.'s shoulder was falling off the bone, and then Nikola Jokic. And you trade away Michael Porter Jr., you get Cam Johnson in return, who I think is an upgrade. You add in Bruce Brown, you add Tim Hardaway, you finally get a big man to come off your bench for Jokic and Jonas Valanciunas. And I think this Nuggets team is deeper. They're better defensively. They get people that can make shots next to Jokic now. Not to mention they still have Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon. I think this Nuggets team is just really good and built for the playoffs. And I think Jokic, best player in the world, obviously, is going to win his second ring.
All right.
So, Doug, from the little that you do follow, do you got anything from this?
Rankings wise, can you explain why the Lakers are so high?
I just think Luka is going to be able to hide away a lot of deficiencies. And also, I think adding DeAndre Ayton is definitely an upgrade from what they've had. And Ayton's going to give you 15 and 10 a night. With LeBron's going to miss the first couple games of the year. You still have Austin Reeves. Obviously, like I said, you still have Luka. I think just having Luka, because not having LeBron before, there was just no offense. Even with Anthony Davis, you're not going to have no offense having Luka. And I said,
I think I would have
hide a lot of that
closer to the 7 range, but yeah,
which I'm okay with, because anywhere from, I would say from that 7 range to 2, you could literally mix or match any of those teams.
Just because the West is so good.
Yeah, and it can go any way.
East though, honestly, like you said, the Cavs are obviously the best team in the East. That's pretty clear. I think if I had to choose a final just based off the year ranking, I would probably go Cavs Rockets. I think adding KD to that roster definitely helps. But who's to bet against the Thunder at this point, really? I don't know.
I mean, that's true. We could very well see the Thunder go on another run and win another championship, and this be the start of a dynasty for them.
Yeah, it's close.
But I just think, again, I just go back to Nuggets pushed them to 7 games with essentially just Jokic, being the one to carry. Yes, Aaron Gordon and people also had a role in it, but you add in these other pieces now and make the Nuggets a little bit more deeper on the bench, a little bit better offensively, better defensively. I think they're able to, because at the end of the day, what the Thunder don't have is an answer for Jokic, because Chet Holmgren is a pencil.
Yeah.
And then Hartenstein is good, but again, it's not Jokic.
I see why you picked the Nuggets. That West is so good, man. I think it's anything from 1 to 6 is probably...
It's all interchangeable.
Yeah. It's crazy how lopsided the East and the West are at this point.
Who knows? Ant could absolutely explode, and Minnesota could be the top dog in the West.
He's a true superstar. He's just...
having Steph and Jimmy Butler for a full year, this could...
Yeah,
especially they had Al Horford, which is kind of, I get it, he's old, so it's not necessarily the piece you would necessarily maybe want right now, but that's the piece they've always been missing, is somebody like Al Horford. So, and then again, the Clippers, I don't understand what they're doing. They are literally just picking players off just the name, essentially, I think. I don't know.
Well, it is LA, so.
What else to go off of? But yeah, there's my NBA preview, and we will move on now. I clicked on the wrong thing here. To a little bit of NFL. And real quick, Doug, now I do this, this, I've shown this before, but I obviously update it. What in the hell is going on here? What the hell just happened to my list here? There we go. Okay. So I have my QB rankings that I obviously started at the beginning of the year. We showed this at the beginning of the year. I update this as the weeks go on. I want you to tell me if you have any issues with said list. Now, obviously, I update this also based on who's starting. So you won't see Joe Burrow. You won't see J.J. McCarthy. Lamar is going to be back officially after this bye week, so he's back on the list. But yeah. So you kind of have your bottom where you have your Cam Wards, Carson Wentz, Bryce Young, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel. At the top, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, Baker, Stafford, and then everything in between. Now, I really think the conversation of all these is just what's in between here, because I feel like we all kind of agree with the top guys.
Yeah, I actually still think I would put Josh Allen over Mahomes, but that's me. Still think you have Jalen Hurts too high right now.
Respectable. I thought about putting Dak over him for sure.
I mean, just the way.
Now let's remember, for full disclosure, I make this list at the beginning of the year of who I think the top 32 quarterbacks are, starting quarterbacks, and then I update this every week based off play and everything else. So just making that be known now. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
so yeah, like I said, where we really get kind of like where I think the conversation goes is 10 through 20 range. Where
Yeah.
we go Dak at 10, then Jordan Love, Sam Darnold, CJ, Daniel Jones, Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, Bo Nix, Kyler Murray, Mac Jones.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough. Those 10 through
Because listen, I'm
20
one
is
win
tough to rank.
win away from Daniel Jones today from putting him above CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
No, I've been hesitant because I've been trying to be unbiased with it, obviously. But I mean, I think if they beat the Chargers today, I think you kind of can't deny it really anymore. Drake May could very well make his way into the top 10 by the end of the year.
Trevor Lawrence is looking pretty good right now. He'll move up.
Speaking
Aaron
of
Rodgers.
They are down 21-0 in London right now to the Rams.
Oh, that's great. Maybe not. You stay right there, 16 then, buddy.
Listen, but Mac Jones at 20. I just don't know if the Niners should go away from Mac Jones.
Where do you put Brock Purdy if he's starting?
I probably put him right back there at 20. Kind of right. I still
same spot.
Yeah, I think he's better than Caleb, better than Jackson right now, better than Geno. I think he's better than all those guys. So I think right there, I think you just still put him at 20.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If you're winning with Mac Jones, why go away
and
from
he's
him?
Putting up numbers. It's not like you're winning and you're winning despite Mac Jones. Like, I get it. They paid him, so they're going to go back to him. Daniel Jones is their I keep going back to Daniel Jones. They've been winning. Brock Purdy's been your quarterback. You go back to him if he's healthy. But dude, if they go back to Brock Purdy and he comes back here soon, I could imagine a couple NFL teams before this trade deadline is going to be calling San Francisco for Mac Jones.
I tell you who should have is the Bengals.
I don't know, because Joe Flacco was slinging that thing on Thursday.
And we've been saying this for years. With that receiving core, I think you can put a lot of these quarterbacks back here who can be a little bit mobile too. And they look awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So, but Flacco could always, I think he's always going to be able to sling that thing. I think you could put Brady back in there right now and probably still be fucking good.
Oh, well, yeah.
So it's
yeah, I mean, I could imagine a team potentially like the Jets calling, being like, "Hey, what's the word on Mac Jones?" And that's not fair to Justin Fields, but Justin Fields just always gets the shit end of the stick. Like, he always ends up on these horrible ass teams with horrible offensive lines, and of course, all the blame in football on a loss goes to the quarterback.
Yeah.
But real quick, how about the guy that's right above him? Because I want to have a conversation about that. Spencer Rattler. We kind of penciled in, New Orleans at the beginning of the year as being a team that'd be fighting for a number one pick, looking to draft a new quarterback. Spencer Rattler's been kind of low-key balling. And it kind of almost makes you think, do they truly need to move off Spencer Rattler if he's playing like this? I mean, the guy on the year is... So, on the year, he's 68% completion percentage for 1,217 yards, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah. An average, it looks like an average of 90, almost a 92 overall QBR. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, what do they need help with? I haven't watched a lot of the Saints. Is it like their defense?
Well, defense, offensive line is atrocious.
So Rattler's out there running for his life.
Yeah, and they're also going to be, from everything I'm seeing, Chris Olave is probably going to be traded by the deadline. So they're probably going to be looking for receivers. I mean, that could be. I would just love to see Chris Olave put in a place where he's not being thrown hospital balls. So I think you could see a team if Pittsburgh is truly all in on trying to win this year with Rodgers, knowing they only have 1 year with Rodgers. I think Pittsburgh would be a good destination to put him next to DK. I think New York with Jackson Dart. You put Olave as a wide receiver 1 for right now with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. And then next year you have Malik Neighbors and Chris Olave, and then you add Wandale to that. You have a pretty good receiving core there.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a lot of moves by the deadline because the Titans have pretty much said everybody but Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons are available for trade right now, which they just fired their head coach. And then, I think the Jets will probably be making some moves. You're going to see a lot of bad teams currently trying to move off some good players so essentially they can still be bad.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Yeah. You go back to the Mac Jones thing. I could see that Steelers next year. That could be a good combo with Mac Jones. The way you were talking about Rodgers only being there for a year. Yeah, man. I don't know. This is gonna be an interesting little.
It could be every year. There's
deadline.
always a quarterback that a couple years ago we saw, or a couple years ago we saw Baker, remake a name for himself in Tampa. Last year we saw Sam Darnold remake a name for himself in Minnesota. This year we see Daniel Jones remaking a name for himself in Indy. I mean, Mac Jones, has kind of been doing it a little bit this year, but next year, could that be Mac Jones? Could he go somewhere, be a starter, and remake a name for himself?
Again, he didn't put up bad numbers when he played for the Patriots.
Yeah,
he just had a bad shit in the stick, kind of like Fields. But
I mean, replacing Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, how do you do that? Belichick was on his way out. I mean, it wasn't great, but
never did anything to help him.
Yeah. No, yeah, pre-deadline though, it's gonna be interesting. All I'm worried about is Colts beating the Chargers today.
Hey! Shout out to Seth on the flow. But yeah, I hope the Colts make a move. I need them to be all in on trying to win right now and make a move.
Let's get another pass rusher in there or something.
Max Crosby, go get Trey Hendrickson. Actually, a couple things I saw this morning. If I can find it, I'm pretty sure it was Underdog NFL. There's a bunch of trade stuff. It said, where's it at? Here we go. Trade deadline chatter. Saints Chris Olave trying to work out a long-term extension, so maybe they try to keep him now that they see Spencer Rattler's balling. Titans open to trade every player but Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons. Eagles looking for help at edge rusher and cornerback, and they are not accepting calls on A.J. Brown. Bengals Trey Hendrickson is expected to not be traded, so that's not good news.
What'd you say? Who?
Trey Hendrickson expected not to be traded.
Yeah.
Giants are not aggressively working to add a wide receiver, so I think that plays more so into Olave working on a long-term deal. I think if they weren't going to get Olave, they're just going to stay put. The Dolphins are receiving calls for pass rushers Bradley Chubb or Jalen Phillips. Wouldn't mind that for Indy. Jets receiving calls for Breece Hall. That could be a big name because, there could be a lot of contending teams that could end up with Breece Hall that could change a lot of things. I really like Washington potentially for him. I know Krosky Merritt's been playing well, but obviously if you can get Breece Hall, you'll take Breece Hall.
Yep.
I think another one that nobody's going to want to hear, but I think it's in play, Kansas City for Breece Hall.
Of course.
Chiefs are shopping for defensive linemen. Jaguars and Cowboys are looking for defensive players. Lions are looking to add an edge rusher, and the Colts are looking to add corners.
They definitely need.
Yeah, Travarius Ward was added to the IR, so he's out the next 3 games at least.
Because of that concussion?
Yep.
Dude, fucking tight end.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I don't know if the Colts just decide to go, full pads for warm-ups.
Fucking ham during.
But last week, we literally right after we got done doing the show, Anthony Richardson was announced that he was out because he injured himself during warm-ups, and we found out later that Anthony Richardson, along with not even being able to play football, can't even stretch right because while using an elastic band, stretching his arms and shoulders out, it popped back and hit him in the face and fractured his orbital bone.
I'm fucking as such AR, dude.
And then we get an update about 30 minutes later after that Travarius Ward is going to be out for a concussion that he received during warmups, which had us all going, what the fuck are we doing during warmups here? And then we saw the video where he ran into one of our tight ends, Alec Ogletree. And if you ever watched Jeff Teague's and them's podcast, Zaire Franklin goes on there once a week after, I think it's on Mondays or Tuesdays after games. And he was talking, they were asking him about, the crazy shit that was going on during warmups, and he was talking about it. He said, he was talking about the AR one, and he was like, why is why is he out? And they were like, yeah, he snapped back, and he was like, God damn. And he goes, yeah, he's young, he'll learn from this, yada yada yada. And he goes, somebody tugged on him and told him that Travarius was out, and they told him why, and he goes, well, who the fuck did he run into? And they were like, he ran into a tree, talking about Alec Ogletree, and he was like, yeah, that dude's a tank. He's like, you run into Ogletree, you're not getting back up. And he was like, and he didn't get back up.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the Colts can get past this stretch with not being 100% healthy at defense, when we become 100% healthy again,
so let's look. So we
it'll
play
be dangerous.
We play the Chargers today, and then we play host to the Titans next week. Then we're at Pittsburgh and at home against Atlanta before the bye week. So I think up until this week, if you can finish this 4-game stretch before the bye week, 2-2, I'm happy with the injuries we have. You get through 2-2, which will put you at 7-3 going into the bye week. I'm very much happy with that. Then you come back off the bye week, you're at Kansas City, and then at home against Houston, at Jacksonville, at Seattle, at home against the 49ers, at home against the Jaguars, and then at Houston. So the Colts the rest of the way, for everybody going, oh, they're the most fraudulent 5-1 team ever, yada, yada, all these reasons. We're going to find out these next 10 games with the Colts.
Yep.
Are they real or are they the truth? I think people are going to be shocked to find out that they are the truth.
I hope so, man. I really hope so.
The real eye-opener, I think, where people are finally going to start giving Daniel Jones their respect is if he goes into Kansas City and beats the Chiefs.
Yeah. I think after today, if we win today, that people
I think you'll start to hear chatter of us getting more respect, but I don't think people will fully give it to us because the Chargers are a little banged up. They don't have their full offensive line and all that. Whatever they got to do to make themselves feel better. But that Kansas City game, I think, will be 100% the tell of if we can do this or not. So, yeah, be a good next couple weeks for the Colts. Find out what we're really made of.
And then college basketball preseason starts next week.
Well, some preseasons have already started.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, some teams have already started playing exhibition. Michigan lost to Cincinnati in their exhibition yesterday.
You're seeing a lot of pretty good exhibition games because I think they all take it into account now when they're playing, when they make seeds. So, yeah, Louisville's first is Friday night against Kansas.
Yeah, and Kentucky plays, let's see, Kentucky's exhibition game. So we had our blue-white game the other night. So we play Thursday. No, not this Thursday. Our first exhibition game is, this Friday. We play Purdue. And then last exhibition game is next Thursday. Before Halloween, we play Georgetown. And then we start the regular season with Nichols, Valparaiso, and then the rivalry game.
What about Jalen Lowe?
Yeah, not a good start.
Because, he was your starting point guard, right?
Yeah.
And he's probably, he dislocated his shoulder. If he didn't tear any ligaments or anything, it won't be too bad. It'll be a few weeks. But if he did, he has to have surgery.
According to Matt Jones 20 hours ago, they said that he is, as of right now, expected to return for the Louisville game.
Yeah. Okay. So he probably just needs a few weeks. So that's good.
Yeah, they said they're still not 100% sure what it is or how bad it is, but they don't expect it based off first diagnosis to be really bad.
That's good.
So I think if you can sit him out for these 2 exhibition games and the first 2 regular season games and get him back for the Louisville game, that'd be great.
Yep.
So, and then college basketball. We cannot wait.
Yeah, my favorite time of year. All right, well, I think that pretty much does it here for this episode. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.